Hey guys, hold on, let me turn this music off. Um, I still don't have my voice back 100%, so I'm gonna do my best. It's been a rough 2 weeks, but I got all the deets for you guys. Linda, hey K-Braze, hey Glenjamin, Butterfly Kisses, Sarah, Ellie, Peppermint Schmoka. I sound better? Good. I hope I sound better. I feel better. For those who don't know, I got strep throat. I kind of knew it was coming because I babysit as my job during the week, and the the little baby that I babysit, her sister had something called impetigo, and it's like a rash that is basically like the strep bacteria, and you can get strep from it. Hey, fur baby lover. And it got passed on to me, and I woke up. Hey, Lori. I woke up Thursday morning, just feeling awful, like awful. And it was a horrible week. I lost out on work. I felt awful. I could barely talk. And then was it yesterday? I guess I just had this bad reaction from my antibiotics and threw up. I've just been having the worst luck ever, but I'm back. Hopefully nothing else happens to me, but but I'm just going to assume that I'm probably going to get sick more often because I'm watching a baby and my son's in grade school. You know, it happens when you're around kids. I sounded wonderful on a phone call. I sounded like a mouse, legit like a mouse talking to them. I was trying so hard to talk, but it just I don't know why I still don't have a voice because I feel better, but my voice is just not there. It won't come back. I know I shouldn't be drinking a Red Bull right now, but I opened it a little bit ago and I'm still sipping on it. All right, so I'm probably going to be clearing my throat a lot too and taking a lot of sips of my drink, so bear with me. But so I've been looking all over to figure out how to get into this trial and listen. So if anyone knows the link or whatever, please send it to me because I've been on I don't know if they're holding it in the old area that they used to live or in Cal City or Bakersfield or whatever, but I was on the California courts website. Hold on. I was on the California courts website, I've been like all over, and I know you can't stream it, you can only listen, but basically what I've been doing is reading the updates from KGET17 News on Twitter, and they are really good. They're doing like play-by-plays, and I like, oh my gosh, everyone's making so much noise. Can you guys hear that fan in the background? If you can, let me know. My audio is low. Hold on. It might just be my voice, to be honest. All right, hopefully y'all can hear me okay. All right, so okay, all right. Thanks, Lori. All right, so I'm going to start I'm just going to read off all of the audio's low in court. Is that what you're talking about? Peppermint Schmooga. I heard it was okay, Kern Court. I looked in Kern County and I couldn't find it there either. Maybe I have to be at like the start of it in the morning. So I'll check in the morning, but I was in Kern County and I heard the audio was really crappy. But all right, let's get started. I'm just gonna go down their tweets. They're very detailed. They are very okay, so they're charged with willfully harming the boys and conspiracy to commit murder. They're also charged with failing to provide a legal duty and a criminally. If I keep looking to the side, it's because I'm reading this monitor over here. Let me see if I can move it like closer so I can. It's moving my whole chair, so I don't have to. I can like. I'm gonna try and move it so I can look behind my camera. It's heavy. Sorry. Okay. Now I'm probably just gonna look up a little bit, but it's okay. Peppermint Schmoka. Okay, so prosecutors have said that Orrin and Orson, which I'm just gonna say Orrin and Orson because that's what it's been in the public. But again, I'd rather say Classic and Cincere, but I don't want to like confuse anyone. But that was like their birth names, which I would prefer to say. But I just don't want to confuse anyone, so I'm just gonna say Orrin and Orson, even though I'd much rather prefer say their real names. But hold on one second, guys. Hold on. Hurry up. Hotel, right on the line. He wants to my son wants to show me something really quick, guys. Okay. Sorry. He wanted to show me some kids met the impractical jokers on his tablet, and I didn't want anyone to see him, so I can connect anytime. You go to Maine Kern County Superior Court site, remote hearings. Thank you, Jordy Dub. Thank you. Kern County Superior Court site, remote hearings. I found Metro Division. Okay. So I have to click on Metro Division Department 4. Okay, you the best. Thank you. I was worried about that. All right, here we go. So prosecutors have said Orrin and Orson died 3 months before the West reported them missing, but have remained tight-lipped on what evidence they have the boys are dead. Their bodies have not been found, and a gag order bars attorneys from speaking about the case. Prosecutor Eric Smith will present an opening statement in which he's expected to lay out the evidence against the West. Defense attorneys may also present opening statements. Trezell West is represented by Timothy Hennessy and Victor Nasser, I think. And Jacqueline West is represented by Alexia Torres Stallings and Fatima Rodriguez. During jury selection last week, Hennessy said that the West, whatever the prosecution is alleging, didn't do it. He also said Orrin and Orson may still be alive. I don't believe that, but okay. Hold on. And they're saying opening. I gotta keep reading tweets are so weird because they go in like a order and you have to. All right. Defense attorneys may also be present for opening statements. Trezell West. Oh, they already said that. They haven't been called into the courtroom yet. A couple jurors have been. All right, so this is before. Let me go back more. All right. Something about an unknown. They're charged with a number of overt acts. Trezell West arranged for the boys to stay in Cal City on the week of September 18th, 2020. An unknown co-conspirator killed the boys after the West planned their deaths. The charges allege. I thought they were alleging that the kids had something to do with it. Hey, Captain Kurt reacts, but it doesn't sound like so far for the opening statements is what I've heard. They're alleging they interviewed the oldest son. And the oldest son basically said that while they were in what was the first? Is Bakersfield where they were originally, and then it was California. All right, well, wherever they were first, their original home before they moved to Cal City. One of the boys, the oldest boy, witnessed one of the boys passing away. Like he said, he was throwing up. I don't remember which one it was, but it'll be in here. He was throwing up and he died. And then the whole family supposedly sat down and had a conversation about what they should do and how they should not tell anybody that the kids had that the child had passed away. And then the oldest child said that the other one went with them to their new home, and one night they were in his room and he heard a loud thud, and after that he had never seen him again. And then I believe prosecutor Eric Smith has begun opening statement. Haha. There we go. All right, I found it. He introduced Detective Thomas Hernandez from BPD investigating officer. A TV is in the courtroom to show specific surveillance footage from a house near where the West lives. He presented Orrin and Orson West. They were foster children, later adopted by the West. Their bodies have not been found. They presented photos of the boys. The West's primary source of income in Cal City was the $4,000 they received from adopting children. So they didn't, I don't even think they worked. They were, the Trezell, I guess, was like a rapper or some kind of musical artist. And Jackie was an artist of some sort. And their main source of income was from adopting children. They got $4,000 in income from adopting children. The West previously lived at 1526 Lotus Lane at an apartment. The West moved to Cal City, 10717 Aspen Way. Smith said there would be DNA evidence presented from that home. Hey, Pray for Rock and Roll. Hey, Grandma Sherry. The case will start at December 21st, 2020 and move backwards, Smith said. That's the day the West reported the boys missing. Smith is playing a recording of a 911 call that Trezell West made on that date. He asked if anyone called in reporting two little black boys. He said they went missing. That call came in at 5:41 p.m. Officers were dispatched at 5:46 p.m. and on the scene at 5:48. 4 Cal City police officers responded and began searching the area for the boys. Smith is displaying an overhead view of the West home in Cal City surrounding area. Police searched the home and the lot next to it and found nothing. They got assistance from civilians and KCSO search and rescue. So many things happened. There was miscommunication. There was no footage of the children walking down the street. Erroneous report, Smith said. So they had no... Hey, Randy man, yeah, I'm feeling better. Just my voice isn't... Oh, hey, Queen Bella. My voice isn't all the way back yet, but hopefully it's not too bad. No cars or people drove up to the home. No one who could have abducted the boys, Smith said. The surveillance footage shows no one went to the home. Now, what's going to become important in this case is detail, Smith said. There were inconsistencies in what Trezell and Jacqueline said. Trezell West said he closed the gate to make sure the dogs couldn't get out, but the gate was open. It took a grown man effort to open the gate. So basically, the gate was like really heavy, and if you guys have ever seen a picture of the gate, it does look really heavy. Like, I can't imagine a child being able to open the gate. Orrin and Orson would not be able to open it, Smith said. There was no children's footprints in the dirt between the cement slab by the house and the gate leading out to the field. The only footprint that they had was Jacqueline's footprint, and it was like a slide, but there was literally no children's footprints. Jesse Dobbins, a neighbor who lived across the street, will testify. He had a camera that captured activations that night. I believe Jesse Dobbins was the guy with the camera where you could see Trezell walking outside and he just gets in his car. He doesn't even look around. At 5:09 p.m., Trezell was outside pulling wood in and out of the house. He said he last saw the children at 5:17. Footage shows West gets into his van, drives around the area, then he comes home and calls 911. Another neighbor said she did not see any children walking in the desert. Based on the statements made by Jacqueline, search and rescue brought a cadaver dog to the backyard and had some notification based on what it smelled. The FBI dug no bones or body parts found. The other children were interviewed December 22nd. They made comments that led to the investigation. Adrian, who was 10 at the time, said his mother had told him Orrin and Orson went to grandmother's house before September. Aiden West, another biological son of the West, said Orrin and Orson hadn't moved to the house in Cal City. He said his parents told him the boys went to the place that they used to live. 4 children who lived with Jacqueline and Trezell said Orrin and Orson either didn't live in Cal City or were only there for a brief time. On December 19th, 2020, the West went from Cal City to Bakersfield. They went to a number of places. Orrin and Orson were never seen in surveillance footage from any of those places. So I guess that's when they went Christmas shopping, I think it was. And all the other kids were there, but not Orrin and Orson. On December 28th, 2020, Adrian, the oldest son of Jacqueline and Trezell, is re-interviewed. He says that while they were living in Bakersfield, he heard noises in the night coming from Orrin and Orson. He said Orrin died. Parents didn't call for medical aid. I believe he also said that he was vomiting and making weird noises. Adrian said his parents discussed keeping the death a secret. Orson was in Cal City for 4 days, Adrian said. One day he heard a loud... All right, so Orrin died, according to the oldest, Orrin died in Bakersfield, and Orson was only in Cal City for 4 days. And then he heard a loud thud in the night, and the next day, Orson wasn't there. Hold on. Sorry, guys. If you didn't know, I just had strep, so I might be clearing my throat here and there so I can talk. It's a little raspy. September 18th, 2020 is the day Wanda West went out to Cal City to watch the boys, Smith said. That did not include Orrin and Orson. They weren't there. Cell phone footage will give a sense of the trips back and forth that the West made to Cal City, Smith said. Wanda West believed Orrin and Orson were with someone else. So I guess Trezelle's mom believed that they had gone with somebody else, like a family member, or they went back to their mother. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that, but Orrin and Orson were not seen at any point from September 18th to the 20th. That lines up with what Adrian says about the boys not being there. I told him, pretend they're not here. Just act like they don't live here. Just go do your work, Jacqueline Gutierrez said in an interview on December 22nd, 2020. I don't know what that means, but all right. Let me go to the next thread. Sorry, it takes a while. Oh, I could read it like downwards, I guess. Like, okay. That's a lot easier. I get so confused about Twitter, like how it works. All right. Ultimately, the answer to where the boys is that the boys are dead, he said. He ended his opening statement by saying he'll be asking the jury to find the West guilty of murder. Timothy Hennessy began his opening statement by saying Orrin... All right, so Timothy Hennessy is the defense lawyer of Trezelle. And I think just Trezelle. He opened his statement by saying Orrin and Orson are missing, and the reason the adoptive parents are charged is because it's easier for authorities to do that than explain why they can't find them. Trezelle and Jacqueline are an artist and a producer who tried to take care of a family of 8. They are unique. They are a unique biracial family. These things make Cal City police suspicious, Hennessy said. They started adopting because they heard about brothers getting separated in the system, Hennessy said. No, so the oldest only witnessed the one passing, but then he said I think Orrin passed in Bakersfield. He witnessed Orrin pass. And then Orson went to Cal City for like 4 days. And I'm wondering if maybe that's when they were like moving stuff, or I don't know. But he said that he was in Cal City for 4 days, and he heard a loud thud coming from his room one night, and then after that he never seen him again. And I believe that was their biological child who said that. Trezelle explained the reason he got Orrin and Orson is because they were 2 little black boys just like him, and now he and Jacqueline are on trial because they went missing. Hennessy played the surveillance footage from when the boys were reported missing. A car is seen leaving the area. They can't explain that, Hennessy said of authorities. There are 41 registered sex offenders in Cal City, 41 people who are a risk to children, Hennessy said. Authorities didn't talk to any until 11 days later. Actually, only spoke to 2, Hennessy said. There is in the initial paperwork from CPS that says there is a video footage of children walking down the... Okay, so in the initial paperwork from CPS, somebody had written in the notes that there was video footage of the children walking down the street. And nobody knows why that was written down. maybe someone heard this story wrong or whatever. I don't know, but I guess they're using that as part of their defense. Like maybe the cops are trying to hide that there was a, video. Hennessy said a woman in Texas called police. Prosecutor Eric Smith then asked for a sidebar. A woman in Texas reported seeing two little boys she believed were Orrin and Orson. Hennessy said the tip was never followed up upon, he said. This is a tragic accident is what evidence will show, Hennessy said. Alexia, a tragic accident? Like an accident, like losing the kids, I guess? I don't know. Alexia Torres Stallings, representing Jacqueline West, said she is reserving her opening statement. California City dispatcher who took the 911 call from Trezell West is first witness called to the stand. All right. His name is Joshua Flores. He responded to the West home the night the boys were reported missing on December 21st, 2020. Flores wore a body-worn camera that recorded an interview he conducted of Trezell West. That recording is being played for the jury. Hey, Slim Hoffa. An officer in the video says he didn't find any tracks in the dirt and asked the West to be truthful with him. There's no other way they could have went out, Jacqueline West says in the recording. So Jacqueline's saying there's no other way they could have got out, but there's no footprints, and the gate was like super heavy. So, I guess there was a recess till 1:30. Hold on, I'm getting there. All right, trial's back in session. Joshua Flores is back on the witness stand. An interview with the West from early the next morning after the boys were reported missing is being played. They're outside and it's dark. Not much can be seen. Yeah, well, so here's the thing, Peppermint Schmoka. The oldest is saying that he was there for a few days, and some of the other kids are saying that he never even made it there. So I'm not really sure what is the actual story, but all of them are saying that they've been gone for a long time. Okay, so like all of the kids are in agreement that they've been missing for a while. Like it wasn't that night. But some of them say they didn't even make it to Cal City, and others say that he was only there for a few days. Yeah, well, I guess maybe there was a car earlier in the night or something. Like I don't know. The defense brought up some car. I'm not really sure, and they brought up like a guy walking his dog or something like that. But they have them on camera, so there will be many hours of video footage played during this trial. Officer Flores footage still playing. At one point, Jacqueline West says the boys have never wandered far from the home before. In the video, police follow the Wests inside their home. The Wests are looking for some papers to give the officers. No, they didn't testify today, I don't think, but they will testify. All of them will testify, I've heard. I don't think they I'm gonna go through everything, but I don't think the kids testified today. An officer tells the West to have a seat while they wait for a helicopter and search and rescue personnel to join the search, and the video ends. Officer Flores testified the West gave him adoption paperwork that night. He said he doesn't recall what he did after the video ends, but had no further participation in the investigation. He ended his questioning of Flores. Alexia Torres Stallings, defense lawyer for Jacqueline West, has begun cross-examination. She's focusing on Flores' inexperience at the time of the boy's disappearance. He was still in training at the time. He had only been an officer for 5 months. I believe that they were, I don't think they're with family. I think they were taken away, but I'm not totally sure. But I know they got taken by CPS because they mention it here a lot. The only document Flores authored in connection with the investigation was a property retrieval form. He said he wrote no reports from that night. Now, keep in mind, guys, this guy was with his training officer. He was new. He was only, he was just there with his training officer, like learning, So he didn't really get too much involved. Torres is asking Flores about his body-worn camera. She asked if his camera was on at any other point other than what was viewed in court. Flores said he cannot recall. Flores testified he's not aware if his field training officer had his body-worn camera on that night. When he first arrived, he made contact with Trezell West and got a description of the missing children. Flores said he circled around the neighborhood and looked for the children. The first officers on the scene were Flores and his field training officer. 4 others later arrived. Flores testified his task was he was assigned to the West to watch over them. Flores said he spoke with 2 neighbors that night. He doesn't have names or numbers for them, and again said he didn't write a report. In the West backyard, there was chalk on a concrete slab, Flores said. Torres Stallings showed photos of chalk markings on concrete. Flores said that's what he saw on December 21st, 2020. There should be a share button, Lamar, like underneath, like an arrow that'll give you a link. Hold on. You should be able to, or let me see. Hold on. Are you on a phone? I forget until I actually open it up. Yes, it's not a dog. Okay, so yeah, so if you hit X out of the chat, there's a little arrow right under, like it'll say Kate Does Crime. Right under that, it'll say share, and you click the button, and then it'll give you a link. Okay, so there is a big thing about a dog named Chalk. Everyone thought there was a dog named Chalk. I thought there was a dog named Chalk, but I don't think there could be, but I don't think so now that they are talking about, they're literally asking in court if there was sidewalk chalk on the concrete slab, and they're showing pictures that there was sidewalk chalk markings on the concrete slab. So there actually was sidewalk chalk. So I believe that they were always talking about sidewalk chalk and not Chalk the dog. But I mean, there may be a dog named Chalk. I don't know, but sidewalk chalk was definitely a factor in this. Okay. Flores agreed with Torres Stallings' description of the gate in the backyard as not properly put together and wiggly. Flores testified he doesn't recall if he was handed a firearm from another officer that night he went to the West home. He said he was told there was a firearm, but doesn't recall being handed it. Torres Stallings showed him a video of a firearm, not his, that was in his possession. Flores said it's accurate that he was given a firearm at the home. That's okay, Lori. Everyone thought that there was a dog named Chalk, to be honest. Like, I was in another stream, and she said it too, and everyone's like, wait. So the dog, like, literally everyone thought there was a dog named Chalk. There was sidewalk chalk found. Well, the police did see sidewalk chalk markings on the concrete slab. So there was. But, I mean, the sidewalk chalk could have came from their other children. I mean, they had other children in the home. They had 4 other children, So Flores said he doesn't recall if the photos sent to him of the children were recent photos. He said he no longer has those photos. which were sent to him by Jacqueline West. He also didn't save them as evidence and doesn't know if anyone else did. Yeah, the other kids could have totally done it for sure. I mean, the oldest was 10 years old, you know? Like, 10-year-olds play with chalk still, in my opinion, so. Torres ended her cross-examination, and Flores has been excused. Mike Balabekian has been called to the stand. This is yesterday, guys, by the way. It is a terrible name for a dog. This was yesterday, and then I'm going to get in today. So if you guys are confused, I'm doing both days, so this was yesterday. Mike Balabekian, I have no idea if I'm saying that right. It's a weird-looking name, but we'll just say Balabekian, has been called to the stand. He lived on the same street as the West. On December 21st, he spoke with police about surveillance cameras on his house. Mike B said the officers took his DVR equipment and he allowed them to do so. He said he spoke to a lot of police, but he doesn't recall any particulars. Footage from Mike B's cameras will be played in court. Smith asked a few questions based on images taken from Mike B's footage and ended his questioning of him. During cross-examination, Torres asked Mike B if there's a delay on his videos. He said no. She asked if there isn't an 8-second delay. Mike B said he isn't aware of that. Mike B has been excused. Anthony Cabriales of the Baldwin Park Police, I don't know if I'm saying that right either, of the Baldwin Park Police Department has been called to the stand. He previously worked 2 years at the California City Police Department. On December 21st, he was assigned to patrol. He was dispatched to the West home regarding missing children. I assisted in attempting to locate the missing juveniles, he said. He searched the home and backyard and the surrounding area. Cabriales said the other officers were at the scene. Cabriales said he spoke with a homeowner regarding surveillance cameras on their home. The person allowed police access to the security camera system. Cabriales said it was a ring-type doorbell camera. There were clips that were relatively short in length, he said. The West residence was across the street from where the camera was facing. He said at that time there was no evidence on the footage to help find the missing children. Another officer was tasked with seizing the footage. He testified he sat in on an interview that evening with Trezell and Jacqueline West at the California City Police Department. The court will be recessed 15 minutes, back in session, with Officer Cabriales back on the witness stand being questioned by Prosecutor Eric Smith. An interview with Jacqueline West at the Cal City Police Department is about to be played. It was taken the night the boys were reported missing. No, they have different attorneys, Lori. They each have 2 different attorneys, I believe. An interview of Trezell West will also be played. Cabriales was present during the interviews. The Jacqueline West interview is being played. 2 officers are in an interview room with Jacqueline West. She says the last time she saw all 6 of her kids together was the day before. So she's saying Orrin and Orson were there, but all the other kids are saying, no, we haven't seen them in a long time. Hey, Abra. Okay. The audio on the video is difficult to make out. She says the other 4 children are with a relative. And Orrin and Orson came back with her and Trezell West to California City. So I guess all the other kids were with a different, with grandma, and she's saying Orrin and Orson, it was just Orrin and Orson with them. Where was I? Unless they did the chalk art to make it look like the kids did it. You know, maybe they wrote some things on the ground to make it look like kid drawings. The audio on the video is difficult to make out. She says, okay, I read it. She said she last saw Orrin and Orson at 5-ish that day. She said she was wrapping gifts because this was close to Christmas. She starts inside. Trezell looked outside. Jacqueline says in the video, An officer tells her that they had search dogs out there and have reviewed surveillance footage, and there's nothing to indicate the boys left the property. So, like on surveillance footage, they don't see any signs of the boys ever leaving the property. Are there any issues with the biological parents? An officer asks, and Jacqueline says there used to be, but not anymore. Let me put my glasses on. The interview has finished playing. Ugh, these are terrible. Hold on. Cabriale testified that other than the interviews, he did nothing else that evening related to the investigation. Smith ended his questioning of Cabriales, and Torres Stalling has begun cross-examination. So Torres is, hey Corky ass. Torres is Jacqueline's lawyer, and I think Hennessy is Trezell West. Hey Nate. All right. She asked if she was ever given a department-issued cell phone. Cabriale said he was not. Regarding the body-worn camera footage, Torres Stallings asked if he noticed the date and time were off. Cabriale said he was unaware of that. Cabriale said he was not the lead investigator on the case. Were you aware the police department had to get new body-worn camera videos after this investigation? And he said no. Torres asked if he ever received any information from CPS. He said no, the only information he received regarding the adoption of the boys came from the West. After reviewing a report, Cabriale said it doesn't jog his memory as to having contact with CPS that night. The first task he was given upon responding to the West home was to search for the boys, he said. He also was to identify surveillance equipment that could help find them. He testified the only person he contacted who had surveillance was the person living across the street. He said he's not sure the exact time he took the West down to the station to be interviewed. It was several hours after the boys were reported missing. There were a lot of civilian volunteers at the scene. He said their names are not included in this report. He said he's not sure why they were told to look for during the search, or he's not sure what they were told to look for during the search. He said he's not aware of any other homes in the area being searched that evening. He testified he's not sure if any known sex offenders living in the area were contacted that night. Their oldest child was 10. They had 2 of their own biological kids. All right, so there's a family of 8. So there was 6 kids and 2 parents. 2 of the 6 were Orrin and Orson. 2 of the 2 oldest ones were biological, I believe, Aiden and Adrian. And then there was 2 more who were foster children, if I recall it correctly. Torres finishes her cross-exam, and Timothy Hennessy, Trezell's attorney, is now cross-examining. Hennessy notes in the interview that Cabriale told Jacqueline West they had surveillance footage and search dogs out. That wasn't true, was it? Hennessy asked. Cabriale agreed. It wasn't. It was a ruse used to see how Jacqueline West reacted. He finished his questioning, and Cabriale was excused. The trial will resume Wednesday at 9. All right, so now we're going to day 2. Okay, so I suppose the other children could have done it at like the day before and it was left there, but the other children weren't at home that night. They were, I think, with the grandma or something. So either maybe the parents drew up some goofy designs or the other children did it the day before and it was still left there. I don't know, but I get it's a possibility for sure, yeah. I mean, there was 6 kids all together. All right, I'm just trying to find day 2. Give me a second. There's like a lot of tweets in between. Sorry, guys. All right, here we go. What did I miss here? I missed a tweet. I don't know where I missed it. All right, whatever. I'll just start. It's only a tweet or two that I missed, so I can't find it. Hansen testifies for juveniles when searching a home. They look under. All right, so I guess there's an officer named something Hansen on the stand. He testified for juveniles when searching the home. They look under beds and in pile of clothes to make sure children aren't hiding. He said they searched the entire West home that evening. The backyard was searched for children's footprints leading out to the gate or a different direction. Yeah. The $4,000 was for 4 kids, not 2. And they basically lived off that $4,000 a month. They didn't really work. I mean, he was a producer, but I don't really know. If he really made money off of it or whatever. I just wonder if Orrin and Orson even made the move. So there's some confusion there. It sounds like one older kid is saying that they didn't even go. And then the other older kid is saying the one died before they moved, and then the other one died 4 days into their move. So they only... Yeah, I need to hear him rapping too, Ellie. If he's a rapper, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, so the oldest child, he is saying that Orrin died in Bakersfield, that he saw him die, and that the family had a sit-down conversation to decide how they would handle it, and that they were gonna, not tell anybody. And then they moved, and he said Orson moved with them. Hey, Jeanette. And that Orson was only at this new home for 4 days before one night they were in his room. He heard a loud thud, and he no longer saw them again. Now, the other children who were a little younger testified that he didn't even make it there. So, but they're all in unison with the fact that they have been missing for a long time. All the kids are saying, oh yeah, we haven't seen them for months, and there's just different stories as to whether they actually made it to the new house or not. I believe they have 2 biological children, so 4 kids. Sorry, I keep getting my glasses are making my head itch. All right. Okay, here we go. Officer Brian Hansen of the Cal City PD has taken the stand on the second day of trial for Trezell and Jacqueline West. All right, so he saw no shoe prints. The only other prints were animal prints. There was no trail of prints leading to the gate area. There were no prints smaller than the one shoe print he saw, which was Jacqueline's shoe print. He says he has children and is aware of the shoe sizes they wore when they were around 3 or 4. There were possible dog tracks throughout the whole area. He thinks he asked Jacqueline West whose sandal made the print, and she said they were hers. There were no other shoe prints. Smith is about to play the video of an interview Hansen conducted with the West that evening. In the recording, Hansen says, "This is not a normal situation. These kids did not just walk away." Hansen tells the West they reviewed the video footage and there is no evidence of the kids walking away from the house via the side lot. In the recording, Trezell West sticks to his story. The officer tells him he's being defensive and says Trezell's afraid of being caught up in a lie. The vanishing part is the weird part, Trezell says of Orrin and Orson going missing. He says he was getting firewood, noticed the boys missing, and searched for them. Trezell West in the recording says he knows how people do when it comes to missing black children. The officer says he's taking it to the racist route. Surveillance footage has been played in court from the night of December 21st, 2020. Officer Hansen testified he saw no footage of Orrin and Orson walking in the street. Prosecutor Eric Smith is now playing an interview Hansen conducted with Trezell West at the Cal City Police Department. Trezell is telling them when they adopted Orrin and Orson. When was the last time all six were together? Hansen says. Trezell says it was either 2 or 3 days earlier. Trezell says he was... Hold on. I accidentally clicked some. There we go. Trezell says he was the only one in the backyard about 20 minutes gathering wood. He says he went inside to check the fireplace. When he came out, the kids weren't there. Court is in recess, and he comes back. Trezell leaves the interview room. Prosecutor Smith stopped the video. Another video is about to be played. This interview occurred after Officer Hansen interviewed the West's other children. Back in session, Officer Brian Hansen says the day after the boys were reported missing, he went to the... Sorry, I keep getting comfortable in my seat. All right, he went to a home on Potomac Avenue to speak with the West's other 4 children. Trezell says in the recording the children were on the concrete slab by his home. When he went inside, he came out and they were not on the slab. Yeah, I thought they were... Are they? I wonder if they're just skipping that, talking about the children one. Trezell says it dawned on him to go back outside to see if the gate was open or closed. He said the gate was open. He and his wife were anxious. Trezell says in the video he got in his van looking for Orrin and Orson. He describes the direction he took as he searched. Hansen tells Trezell search dog found no trace of the children anywhere in the immediate area except for the house. What does that mean, though? Trezell says. Trezell asks if he's telling him his children were kidnapped, and the officer asks if he has ever been an issue with the boys' biological parents. Trezell says it's always an issue. They know where they live. In the video, an officer tells Trezell the footage they reviewed doesn't show any cars moving along his street at the time he says the children went missing. Asked for his theory on how the children left the house, Trezell says he assumed they left through the side gate. Kids were never there. An officer says the search dogs indicate they weren't outside the house, an officer says in the video. The only thing caught on camera was a man walking a dog more than an hour before the boys were reported missing, the officer tells Trezell. The footage showed him walk along the street and leave. Let's do what we have to do, Trezell says. An officer tells him about the resources they have showing up. Trezell leaves the interview room, and the prosecutor stops the video. I guess they're not talking about the child interview because he mentions the interview with the kids and then it just goes on to a different thing. So I guess maybe that's supposed to be kept private. Maybe they're not allowed to talk about the kids' interview. I don't know, but it just disappeared. Oh, maybe it was an interview with Trezell after the West kids were interviewed. I don't know. I'm confused. Hey, Kayla. How are you? Yeah, I think so too, Lori. I think they moved just in general to get away from everything and to confuse people, so nobody has questions. They were away from that area in case, they wanted to separate themselves. A lot of people do that, if there's a murder or something in the house, you just want to get out of there and separate. Like you feel like if you're away from it, that, you could forget about it. I don't know. All right, so Officer Hansen goes back to the West home on Aspen Ave in Cal City. Both Trezell and Jacqueline are present. The officer has photo lineups for the couple to look at. One person resembles the auntie, Jacqueline West says, and Trezell agrees. I'm really wondering if they're talking about Roro here. I love Roro, by the way. It has been a long week for me, especially. It's been a struggle. I can't wait to get back to work for sure. And I'm sure you can tell by my voice that it's been a long week. The officer gets contact information for other West family members. The Wests tell him they previously lived at an apartment in Bakersfield for 3 years. In the video, Jacqueline says she moved to the Cal City home in mid-September. Officer Hansen asks about the day-to-day routine. Jacqueline says it's school, cleaning, feeding the pets. The kids don't get playtime or TV if they don't listen. Asked if they fight or have money problems, Jacqueline says they have normal disagreements, but they don't fight. She says her husband writes and produces music, and she makes art. She says they don't have money issues, but they get more money from the adopted children than what they make themselves. All the children except Orrin and Orson are in school. Jacqueline West says her mom never really visited their home, but she would visit her mother. Officer Hansen is asking again about the timeline of when the children went missing, when she last saw them, her interactions with Trezell after they went missing. Jacqueline says she knows of people who would want to take the boys, but she does not know where they live. Good question, Ellie. Good question. I don't know how that. Maybe that's why they had to move. I don't know, but that's a great question. By the way, I just thought about this. Maybe I should do some like Vanderpump or like Bravo stuff on my other channel because I'm dying to talk about it. If y'all like Bravo stuff, I am dying to talk about the Bravo drama. So maybe I'll do a few of the videos. I just saw on the side of the tweets like trending about Bravo, so it popped in my head. I know I randomly just spout things out sometimes. Alright, so Jacqueline says the other children sometimes like playing with Orrin and Orson, but Orrin and Orson cry a lot. She says her and Trezell got married in 2010. Their eldest son was born the year they were married, and the next couple years later, Jacqueline West says the other children were adopted. An officer asked them for a cheek swab to collect DNA, and they agree. Officers also asked to examine their cell phones, and Trezell says they need phones for communication. Sorry, I have to like fast forward a lot because I accidentally clicked on the tweet and now. Alright, here we go. Prosecutor Eric Smith told Officer Hansen he wants to go over some photos. Hansen says the photos were taken inside the house. He's describing a diagram displayed in court of the West home in the nearby area. Court is in recess till 1:30. Alright, let's find when it comes back. Back in session. Officer Brian Hansen remains on the witness stand under questioning by Prosecutor Eric Smith. Smith is displaying photos of the West home on Aspen Avenue in California City, including the backyard. The backyard is almost entirely dirt. Yes, Lori, exactly. Even though they'll still find their evidence, but so that's the crazy thing is their backyard is literally like all dirt. Like they would know if the kids' footprints were outside, there would at least be some. You know what I mean? If the kids were running around outside, there would at least be some of their footprints. There wasn't any at all. Just dog footprints. He testified that the dirt was very soft, almost baby powder type. Smith is now showing photos of inside the home. One was taken on December 23rd. There are Minecraft eating mats unused diapers inside a closet in one of the kids' rooms. The diapers were size 6. I don't know if the diapers were supposed to be their diapers, but the diapers were relevant in that he looked for dirty diapers inside the house or trash cans. There was trash in the trash cans, but nothing relevant such as dirty diapers. So, most likely they were still in diapers, and there's literally no diapers in the trash can, so there's really no signs. Like, the other kids were all old enough to use the bathroom. So it's definitely relevant. Exactly, Lori, that too. But I mean, I guess they could have played on the concrete slab, but they definitely didn't go out of the gate, it sounds like. 2 toothbrushes were found in a medicine cabinet. They seemed like they hadn't been used in a while. They had dust on them and appeared to be stuck to the cabinet by some sort of fluid. Ew. He testified he looked for kids' cups, kids' silverware, juice boxes, kids' snacks. They didn't find sippy cups or anything like that. He wanted to see evidence that kids had been there. Good question, Corky, right? Who the heck just drives around the block one time? I would have, like, I said this the last video I did about this. I would have been outside like a freaking maniac. You would have seen me run by the camera like 87 times. I would have been like digging in the ground, looking under bushes, looking under cars. I mean, like, imagine if your kid was lost. You would be outside searching everything, looking in all the neighbors' cars, looking under the cars. Like, this man just walked out of his house to his car, got in a car, and drove around the block. Like, no way. If your kids are missing, you're out there going bananas looking for them. You would have seen me like a chicken with my head cut off, like, just like running around, screaming. Yes, screaming. I don't know, Ellie, if anyone brushed their teeth. Good question. Yeah, he was way too calm. And Marie Serrano, totally. Yeah, so would I, Corky. I would be. Oh, and if you guys are wondering who I'm talking to, I'm live on multiple platforms right now. So if you hear a name that you don't see in chat, it's because they're from another platform. I know a lot of people ask me all the time, like, "Oh, who's this?" That's where it's coming from. But yeah, I would be a maniac. Like, I would be having a heart attack. I would probably be having a meltdown. He didn't even have a flashlight. It was dark. I would be a mess. Like, he just calmly walked out of the house. He didn't go knocking on it. He didn't even knock on the neighbors' doors. I'd be banging on all the neighbors' doors, just losing my ever-loving shit. Like, plain and simple. And I don't believe it at all. I don't believe any of that crap. And not only that, but listen, they're saying it now. There was no sippy cups, no kid. I mean, there was literally zero evidence that any little kids had been there besides diapers. That's it. Unused diapers. There was no sippy cups. There was no used diapers in the trash. There was no the toothbrush weren't used. I mean, there was literally no evidence that there was like kids currently living there or like under the age of 5. There were multiple camera crews around the West residence, Hansen said. He said he later reviewed the interview the West gave the media. Smith is playing the interview. In the interview, Trezell explains how he was gathering wood when the boys went missing. The West are standing in the street near their home, multiple microphones set up in front of them. Now, I know you guys probably seen this already. It's like the interview they did. And Trezell's like this with this mask on his face, and he's like, I went to get firewood, and then I came back, and then I looked at my house, and then I was like to my wife, where's the kids? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, you don't know where they are? Well, I'm going to go outside. And I went outside, and they're not there. So I went to my car. I got my car. I drove around the block. I mean, it was the weirdest interview ever. Like, I don't know who the hell talks like that, for one. Like, it was like so rehearsed. that you could like just hear it, like him going through each thing he rehearsed in his mind as he's speaking it out loud. It was ridiculous. If you haven't seen that interview, just go Google it. You'll find it. Just like look up Trezell and Jacqueline West's interview. But it was the most goofiest interview I've ever seen in my life. Like people were asking me questions and I've been like, oh my god, I was outside, I was grabbing firewood and I just came, my kid's not there. He looks like this. He's got black hair. His eyes look like this. Help me find him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you normally say. That's how you normally act. You want that, like, you're going to be like, this is what my kid looks like, please. Oh my gosh, I was outside. I just can't believe this happened. They must have ran out the gate. I don't know. But it wasn't like that. He, like, totally rehearsed the whole thing. He didn't even, like, tell them how they looked. He was like, oh, yeah, I'll get pictures. But don't even get me started on that interview. It was horrible. My daughter's 18 now. When she was 2, I couldn't find her for like 2 minutes. I was freaking the F out. She was hiding in her closet. Yeah, I've had that. That scared me too. Like, or my kid ran away from me in the yard and I couldn't find him for a minute. And I just like, it's the most terrible feeling ever. And there's no way you're that calm. Well, it's just no. Yeah, diapers stack up for sure. Oh, the house definitely, when I babysit, it'd be like, I have to keep taking the trash out or put it outside because that, like, lingering shit smell just doesn't go. Oh, it's horrible. But believe me, if there was kids there'd be diapers, or they would find old trash with diapers or something. But, gosh, that interview was so cringy. It was so cringy. The West asked the public to call the police if they see the boys. Trezell says, boys are going to be here in this area. Sorry. A reporter tells the West by a mom, Orrin and Orson thinks foul play is involved. That's understandable, Trezell West says. I think the same thing. What? Like, that's not understandable. That drove me crazy too. All right. So if a reporter, if you're going to do an interview, right, and a reporter says to you, oh yeah, Orrin and Orson's bio mom thinks there's foul play involved, would you say, oh yeah, that's understandable? Hell no. I would be like, excuse me? Hell no, that's not understandable. I would never hurt them kids. You know what I mean? If somebody, a reporter told you, oh yeah, their mom thinks you killed their kids, that's understandable would not be my answer. I would be like, hell no, I would never hurt them kids. She's crazy. I love them kids. Yeah, I would be offended. Exactly. I would be offended. Oh my Lord. We lost our son at Animal Kingdom in Disney. They locked the place down. It was only like 10 minutes. Yeah, when I was at Disney, I was like 3, and I started to walk off with another family. My dad saw me the whole time and let me do it because he's a jerk. But when I realized, I was probably like 20 feet ahead when I realized that it wasn't my dad, and I just started screaming, and he knew, he let it happen because he thought it was funny. But yeah, he let me walk away with another family for a good 5 minutes. But yeah, exactly. I would be offended as hell, and I would be like, hell no, foul play, that's bullshit. I never hurt them kids. I love them kids. Hell no, something happened. Please help me find them. Not, that's understandable. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard anyone say. That's so, like, how is that understandable? That's not friggin' understandable. Listening to Trezell recorded questioning today by Ellie. Screamed guilty, so defensive after he found out they had already talked to the children. Yeah, I read that part, but I didn't hear it. But I wish I actually heard the audio. You were listening, Jordy? He sounded like really mad. He said, I didn't give permission for you to talk to my kids or something like that. I read it, but I didn't like hear his tone, which I'm so frustrated about. I'm gonna go find it tomorrow because I'm the type of person, like, I need to hear the tone in people's voices and stuff like that, Yeah. Christmas was coming, yes. My daughter did the same thing. We were on her left, but she was following the family in her right. Oh, my dad is a jerk. He let me walk away with them for like 20 feet, and then I looked up and started crying, and then he went and got me. But he let me. He wanted to see how long I would go before I realized I wasn't with my family. Yeah, I heard that too. That like he wanted to prioritize all the kids or keeping them safe or something like that. They say it in the updates. All right, so Trezell says the police just took tech from their house, like our phones, he says. He says they invited police to search their home. The West say they were told to stay in their home and not go out searching, that authorities were doing that. Nobody could keep me in my home if my kid was missing. No way. Our daughter was 5 and was missing at the zoo, was missing for 5 minutes, came back with 2 police officers eating popcorn, and she said, "Why are you crying, Mom? Did the monkeys make you cry?" Oh, that's adorable. You were probably freaking out. Oh my god. 5 minutes is 5 minutes too long, man. Way too long. Everybody is making their own conclusion, Jacqueline West says in the interview. They don't know anything. Giselle describes the boys as playful and rambunctious. They're kids. All right. We've seen that interview a million times, so I'm going to keep going. The FBI began assisting on December 22nd, 2020. Bakersfield Department and Kern County Sheriff's Office also assisted, he said. The BPD assisted with search warrants and interviews, Hansen said. Another interview Hansen had with the West is going to be played. The transcript of this interview is about an inch thick. This might be the one you're talking about, Jordy. Let me get a sip of my water real quick because my throat is... For those who came in late, I just got over strep. I had strep over the weekend. So, hey, Risk. I still don't really have my voice back, and it's like scratchy, you know. So bear with me if I keep having to sip some water in between, you know. All right, the video has begun, showing Hansen and Trezell West in an interview room along with another member of law enforcement. Asked about his background, Trezell says he attended Bakersfield High School, then Vista West to catch up on credits. Trezell says he attended Bakersfield College for a while, then started working with a friend in the family that ended after a few years. Trezell said he and Jacqueline began dating in 2008 and got married in 2010. I love it, he says, living in Cal City. I mean, until recent events. Yeah, strep is good. If that's what you're talking about, strep is going around all over. I've talked to like 5 people who had it like the past week. Everybody's getting it. Yeah, the mic lights up. See? Isn't that cool? I'll mute first. Now y'all know when I secretly mute. All right. Asked why he left Lotus Lane in Bakersfield, Trezell says the house in Cal City was cheap and he loves it there. He said they lived in Cal City since September 9th, 2020. The interview occurred in December of 2020. West says he doesn't know his neighbors well, but hasn't had issues with anyone. He is going over each of his 6 children for the officers. 2 are biological and 4 are adopted. My son said he was looking for barbecue. What, in Disney? Oh, them barbecue turkey legs are banging in Disney. If that's what you're talking about, ooh, they're so good. No one else in my house has gotten it except my oldest, and both my kids had tonsils, and Adina was out too. Oh, yeah. What, you're not supposed to get it if you have that? I don't know. I've had it in high school. This is like I haven't had it since then. I had it in grade school and high school and then now. But I had like the weirdest symptoms. Like I felt my skin felt like it was burning, like I had sunburn. Ugh, it was so bizarre. I was achy all over. Okay, so the children are homeschooled, Trezell says. His wife teaches them. Trezell says his oldest son, 10 at the time, is a genius and he thinks he'll be an astronaut. Well, he's just showing that his 10-year-old son's pretty smart, and them interviewing his son about what happened, he probably knows his shit. His then 9-year-old son is mischievous, Trezell says. He had some issues earlier in life. Trezell says the dates they homeschool the children are much the same as going to regular school. They let the kids have summer and holidays off. Orrin came to them after suffering a broken leg and his mother lost custody, Trezell West says. He says Orrin cried whenever anyone left his presence. He had separation anxiety. Yeah, well, Jeanette, I tested myself for COVID and I didn't have it, but I definitely had strep. I had white spots all in the back of my throat. But yeah, I got in the shower. When I got in the shower, man, I thought I had scarlet fever. I was freaking out. All my skin felt like it was like a sunburn all over, and like I couldn't even like touch. Like every time I touch it, like burned, and I thought I sounded so crazy because I was like, my skin's burning. I don't know why, but it was definitely burning. Hey Parker, what's up? Oh yeah, if your throat is sore, you can't stop swallowing, and then it's terrible, and you get like that like thick mucus, and you can't swallow it. Ugh. But yeah, my skin was on fire, and then like the tips of my fingers would go numb. Ugh, I threw up. I don't even know, man. And throwing up with a sore throat is not fun either. Let me tell you. I just had like it was really bizarre. It was just a nightmare of a weekend for me for sure. And I had the worst body aches. I really thought I did have COVID because my body hurt all over. Like I couldn't even move. I just wanted to be in bed. And obviously I couldn't talk. I was like a squeaky mouse for days. He says Orrin still cries, but now it's for a reason, not just someone leaving. He says Orrin has some anger issues. Orrin and Orson have issues with the other children, Trezell says. He says he keeps them compartmentalized, lets them play together while the other children do other things. Trezell says he never really felt God's presence in church, but feels real love with his wife. An officer says you and your wife are ride or die, and Trezell says that's how he feels. Trezell asks for an update on the search. Officers say it hasn't stopped and they're asking more questions, making sure they haven't missed anything. We're anxious to get these two babies home safe, the officer says. An officer asks if when they were on their way to the home in Cal City before the children disappeared, if there were any road rage situations, any indication that people may have followed him. Trezell says no. Oh, really? I hate pickle juice, but I love me some vinegar, salt, and garlic. So I could drink vinegar. Like vinegar, ooh, I love vinegar, especially like on salads. I can just douse my salad in vinegar. Lately I've been having I have like a chickpea addiction. I love chickpeas. Like I'll just like get a can of chickpeas and like dry them off, then just like dump them on a plate and put salad dressing on it and some cheese and I just love chickpeas. I don't know why, but they're so good. Like I eat it with salad too, but sometimes like if I run out of lettuce, I'll just eat the damn chickpeas. Okay, road rage situations. No road rage situations. They're going over in detail the stops the West made and where they parked the van when they got home. They're talking about being at the house on Saturday, 2 days before the boys were reported missing. Trezell told law enforcement wants to make sure they have everything accurate when it comes to the movements on the days leading up to the disappearance. The boys slept a lot on Saturday, went to bed early, Trezell says. He tells law enforcement he cut wood on Sunday and that the boys ate chicken soup his wife made. Trezell says Trezell and officers are talking over each other at times. They tell him they want to get everything accurate. He's trying to keep straight what they ate on which day. Trezell is now going over the events of Monday evening when he said the boys went missing. He gathered wood, went inside, came back out, and the boys were gone. He says the gate was open while he was gathering wood, but there's no way the boys got out while he was outside. He says he asked his wife where the kids were, and she said they were outside. Trezell says maybe 3 minutes passed from when he went inside, dropped off the wood, turned back around, and went outside again and noticed the children were gone. He looks outside, and he and Jacqueline search inside and can't find the boys. Officers keep asking him to go over again and again in order of everything happened, which he noticed when he noticed the boys went missing, when he searched outside, when he looked outside. I didn't realize the gate was open until I checked the whole yard, Trezell says in the video. Maybe 3 minutes passed from when he noticed the kids were missing until he looked in the front yard. There was nobody outside, Trezell says, when he went out to the front to get in his van and search for the boys. Law enforcement is asking him what direction he went looking for the boys to describe his movements while in the van. Trezell is answering them, says he was driving slowly because the boys wouldn't have been able to make it that far. Trezell is describing what the boys had been wearing that day. It was cold that evening. These are my boys, Trezell says of Orrin and Orson. He says he and his wife care about them. It doesn't matter if they're not his biological children. Trezell says he wants the boys back, but if he can't find them or something happened, he wants to protect his other 4 children too. His focus is on all 6, but he's worried about the other 4 because if he doesn't look to the future, they'll suffer. An officer asks if his other kids lie. Trezell says they do sometimes. He says he's not sure what they'll tell people. They don't know. The cops say to Trezell, "You have not been honest." He tells Trezell he and his wife's story don't match at all. They have not been missing since Monday, the officer tells him. He tells Trezell his mom has not seen the kids. "We talked to your kids. We talked to them. And they have not seen these babies in weeks," an officer says. He says the 10-year-old would have known, and he says the children say that Trezell tells them they'll be coming back soon. Trezell says he doesn't tell them that. Trezell denies lying. Law enforcement keeps pressing him, telling he and his wife's story aren't the truth. "You have shown zero emotion. Your wife has shown zero emotion." An officer says all 4 children said the same exact thing. They have all the same story. They haven't seen Orrin and Orson in weeks, the officer says. Trezell denies knowing where the kids are. "This is your chance to come clean," another officer says. Trezell says he didn't give them permission to speak to his children. They tell him they don't need his permission. "The kids' stories are the same. You know where they're at," the officer says of Orrin and Orson. "You haven't even shed a tear." Trezell asks if he can leave. "I'm done with this," he tells them. One person leaves the room. Trezell keeps talking with Officer Brian Hansen. "Either you're protecting her or she's protecting you," Hansen tells Trezell, referring to Jacqueline West. There's still about 10 minutes left of the video, but court is in recess and will resume at 9 a.m. Wednesday. So that's it for the first 2 days. Tomorrow, I am so curious to hear the rest of this interview for sure, but that's all the details from day 1 and day 2, the best I can describe. I wish I actually could listen to it, and I appreciate you, Jordy. Let me write down that info. Are you still here, Jordy? I know Jordy said to go to Kern County, Superior. Superior Courts, Metro, right? Kern County Superior Courts, Metro Division. What was the last one? The number 9. Was it 9? Department 9 or 4? I have no idea, Risk. Good question. I don't know. Why does she always wear... Where did it go? Oh, remote hearings. Okay. So Kern County. Metro Division. What was it? Metro Division Department 4. Okay. Got it. Thank you. You the best. All right, Corky, thanks for coming. I'll be back. I'm probably gonna do like every 2 days, you know what I mean? Like just so it's not like a super short video. Like I'll do like Monday. Like I'll do we'll do recaps like every two days. Unless there's something to appear angelic while getting half of her information wrong. Yes, Thumb Thug, that's you win that answer. Oh my gosh, did you guys anyone watch Jones and Live tonight? That case is crazy. If you guys haven't seen it, it's pretty crazy. The lady who shot her husband on Facebook Live. Oh my god. I was like flabbergasted. Of course, Lori. So this woman, I think her name is Khadijah Brown. She was on Facebook Live. Like, you know, I don't understand why these couples do this, but you know, when like people get in fights and then they got to go on Facebook Live and like broadcast it to the world that there's a fight going on, you know what I mean, between them. So you're like, you know, I'm live, so everyone, you know, don't do this or don't do that. Well, I don't know if they show it, but you hear it, man. It was bad. It was like, so, all right, in a nutshell, hold on, I got an itch. She is on Facebook Live, and her husband, or kids or something, 2 older kids and 2 little youngins. Yeah, that poor man was trying to leave the entire time, right? He's like just trying to go to work, and he's trying to get his stuff, and these like she's just being just terrible. Like, what do you think you going? Who are you on the phone with? You know, like giving him hell. And he's like, I'm on the phone with my uncle. She slaps him a few times, and he tells her like, don't touch me. And he's literally just trying to like get out of the house, and she keeps hitting him. And he tells her like, look, I'm gonna tell my uncle to send over my cousin, who I'm assuming is a female, who would probably whoop his wife's ass or something like that. But he keeps telling her like, I'm gonna send my cousin over. Well, anyway, she pulls out his gun, and you hear him like, oh, nobody cares that you can pull your gun out on me. And they're still arguing. She got his gun, and then her mother's there, I guess, cooking food, and her mom keeps telling them to stop the whole time. She's like, guys, stop, like, knock it off, stop. And then it gets to the point where she's like blocking the door. She's blocking the doorway and like won't let this man out. And all he wants to do is just leave. And he's like, can you just get out of the way? Like, move out of the doorway, let me out. And then you just hear the shot go off. And then all of a sudden you just hear screaming. The grandma and the lady who shot her husband are just screaming like, she's like, I'm gonna go to jail. I'm going to jail. And not to mention, while she had the gun in her hand, she kept telling her husband like, I'm gonna murder you tonight. Murder scene. And then she says like, I'm gonna effing kill you tonight. Like, she threatened him, like said she was gonna kill him. Well, they're screaming after she shot him, And then she's like, oh my God, I'm going to go to jail. And then she says something like, I didn't know there was one in the chamber. The gun just went off. And then you could hear the poor kids just come out of their room and they're crying, going, Daddy, Daddy. Oh, it was horrific. It was horrible. It was so sad. And then the grandma's just losing her mind, just screaming. I'm sure she goes out and calls the police. And the police get there, and I mean, she's like yelling for her husband to stay with her. She tells her kids at one point, like, your dad's dead. Oh, it was horrible. It was like, it was hard to watch, but I don't think she realized it was still recording. And man, they got everything. She's done. Like, she's done for sure. But that was a pretty interesting video if y'all want to check it out. But I watched a live car chase yesterday on YouTube, and a guy jumped out like, whoa, was he all right? That's fast. He must have went flying. Holy moly. Where was this at? That's crazy. I'd be way too scared to never jump out of a car and go, was he driving it? I would never jump out of a car and go 45 miles an hour. No way. No way. No way. I was surprised. Did he like get out and run? In a stolen police car. Jesus. California. Why are all the best car chases in California? Like, am I the only one who thinks that? Because I really feel like all like the big car chases are in California. Like, every time I watch like a good car chase, it's that. He didn't make it? He died? Like, he died from jumping out of the car? I was gonna say, I would be shocked if somebody. Well, I'm not surprised. Who jumps out of a car 45 miles an hour? Yeah, only LA and Florida. Yes, LA, so true. Like, you never see this shit anywhere else. It's only like LA and Florida that have the crazy, like Miami and LA. It's so true though. Florida always has the best news stories, like the most outrageous news stories. But you know what I'm gonna go do now, y'all? Oh, he smacked his head hard. Oh. I mean, I don't know what the guy thought was gonna happen. He stole a cop car? Anyways, does anyone watch Bravo stuff here? Cause I was thinking of like maybe on my other channel doing some like reality TV drama talk, because I'm just so embroiled in this Vanderpump Rule. I've always liked watching. Good night, Lori. Thank you for coming tonight. I know the guys probably won't appreciate this, but I was thinking maybe on like my other channel we can talk some Bravo stuff. Hey, NorCal girl! I just finished, but you can rewind. I went over all the minute details from trial today through like tweets and stuff. Yeah, the Vanderpump Rules drama is just so good right now. I was thinking about like maybe doing like an off-topic live or doing it on my other channel, just because I'm like, it's too good not to talk about right now. It's on tonight, so that's where I'm gonna go watch the recap because I missed it. But has anyone watched Netflix haunted movies? The Haunting of Hill House. I watched some of the Haunting of Hill House. I like haunted stuff. But yeah, this Vanderpump Rules stuff has just been so good lately. I just kind of want to have it live on it. Yeah, me too, NorCal girl. Me too. I got all the information to listen to it to listen to the actual trial, but there's no streaming of it. So I'm just going to have to start taking notes. Yeah, I could do it on my, or maybe I'll just do it on this, but I'll do like an off-topic live. Like I call it like off-topic live, just so people know like what it's about. Well, it's still good drama, Linda, so you could just come and learn about all of it. I'll give a recap for everybody. Vanderpump Rules. All right, in a nutshell, there's a show called Vanderpump Rules. It's on Bravo. It's mostly girly stuff. It's like, like Real Housewives. It's on that station. And it's basically like a spin-off of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant. It's all the young people who work there. Well, yeah, me too, NorCal. I want, like, I was saying in the beginning, like, I would like to call, like to just say Classic and Cincere, since that's their, like, birth name, but I just don't want to confuse anyone, because I know publicly they're known as, like, Orrin and Orson, so I've just been saying Orrin and Orson, but I prefer Classic and Cincere. Yeah, there's so much drama. So anyway, they all work at this restaurant, and they're all, like, intertwined and dating and stuff, and there's this couple, Tom Sandoval, who's been with this girl Ariana for like years. And like, don't kill me, y'all, because like I'm in no way condoning anything. I'm just saying that I never really thought they were like a good couple from the jump. They seem like they're on like completely different pages in life, so their relationship always confused me. But it's still discussing what he did and everything that went down. Scandoval, yes. So anyway, Tom, they have a house together and all that stuff, but like they're kind of on different pages in life because she's bisexual and she doesn't want children, and he wants children, and I don't know, but he cheated on her with this chick Rachel, but she calls herself Raquel. She was kind of like the quiet one, like throughout the series, and she was the last couple seasons dated this guy James, and I just love James. I don't know why, but I adore James. Like, it's not about the pasta. He's my favorite ever. I just love James. It's not about the pasta. Yeah, she always seemed annoyed. Yeah, I agree. She always seemed like annoyed with him. Like, I don't know. But Raquel was with James. He's like this like DJ from the UK, and he's drunk all the time, and he's an asshole. But he's just like, you can't not love him. I don't know. I love James. But anyway, they broke up, and then she just turned into a straight like hoe. And just started hooking up with everyone's mans. I don't know. And you can't stand James. He's an asshole, but I love him. I don't know why. Like, he's a total asshole, but I just love James so much. I don't know why. I love it. It's not about the pasta though. Like, I say that for everything. But I don't know what it is. I just like, even though he's a total asshole, I just have this like soft spot for him, and I can't really put my finger on why. But yeah, I'll tell you what though. As much as I hate Raquel, I mean, like what she did, I was so proud what she did with Lala. All right, so Lala, this other chick who slept with this guy who was married, and he left his wife for her. Well, she slept with James, who was Raquel's boyfriend at the time, and I just recently told Raquel, and Raquel didn't know. Well, they all went on a girls' trip, and Raquel made like a joke, like she was like, Lala said, "Oh, I'd never trust you around my man." to Raquel. And Raquel said, "Well, good thing you don't have a man." And she was so mad. She was like saying like, "Oh my gosh, like she like how could she do that? I respect all women and like, girl, no you don't. Like, stop." You ruined a marriage and you slept with Raquel's man. So I don't know. I can't stand Lala, so that kind of was just like a, you know, I say to my husband when he misses my point. He thinks I'm crazy and once asked who is having pasta. Right? I just, yeah, I see that too. Like all kinds of like some gross shit. Randall, yeah, he's gross. But I don't know. I just, yeah, I'll definitely have to do a live on it. Maybe I'll just do some like reality TV talk on the other one because it's just too good to talk about right now. But yeah, I'll definitely do, or I'll do it on my channel, but I'll make sure I title it like off topic so that way people who want to hear crime, they'll know it's off topic and not about crime. But anyways, I am going because I'm going to go catch up on the new Vanderpump Rules, but I'll be back in 2 days and we'll talk about the latest updates with Classic and Cincere, or if you know them as Orrin and Orson, with the trial updates. I'm going to do it every 2 days because I feel like one day is just like, because the actual trial's not playing, just talking about it will go fast. So I'll do it like every 2 days. Oh yeah, I used to love them too, Jeanette. Well, anyway, I'll see y'all then. Thank you for coming, and I'll talk to y'all later. On Friday, I guess. It's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Friday. Alright, good night, guys. Yeah, definitely rewind NorCal Girl. Thank you. See ya. Oh, and there's a lot of good details in there, so definitely make sure you rewind. Good night.